Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another exciting edition of the American Revolution, Lesson 9, with your host, me, Mrs. Inman. All right. Here's what you need to succeed today is your mentor text, a pencil, and a highlighter. Okay, so our learning goals for today are: I can draw inferences to deepen my understanding of a text. I can identify text evidence that supports my inferences, and I can accurately quote text evidence in a response. Let's get started. All right, so today we're going to draw inferences about the content of A Loyalist's Daughter. We'll practice how to quote accurately from a text to support an inference drawn from that text. Okay. Making inferences as we read helps us pick up on information that may not be directly stated. So, often writers may express themselves through emotions or actions, especially in a memoir. Now, we've talked about memoirs before. It's written from somebody who actually experienced the event. So we can use this information to come to conclusions about a person's beliefs or personality. So in order for our inferences to be valid, we must base them on supporting evidence we can quote directly from the text. All right. So let's draw inferences. To make an inference, you must take what the author tells you and figure out important details or ideas the author does not directly tell you. So text evidence plus your knowledge is an inference. In the text I read, ... plus I know that, ... equals I think that. Page 14. If this excerpt did not include an introduction, what text evidence would allow you to infer that Anna Rall was a loyalist? Okay, if it didn't give you an introduction. The news is as surprising as it is disturbing. We flatter ourselves that it is not true. This evidence right here allows me to infer that Rall is a loyalist. She supports the British side because she's hoping it's not true that Lord Cornwallis surrendered. I have underlined, I am in a most unsettled humor, and I had a long conversations on the melancholy situation of things. So, to further my inference here, I can quote directly from the next entry in Rall's diary. Once she hears that Cornwallis has indeed surrendered, she is in a most unsettled humor, and she and her friends have long conversations on the melancholy nature of things. Remember, the melancholy nature of things means the sad nature of things. The fact that she is unsettled and melancholy also does allow for me to infer that she is a loyalist. All right, now it's your turn. Reread page 15. What can you infer about Anna Rall's position in Philadelphia society? In her society, in the society she lives in Philadelphia. Okay, what can you come up with? What can you figure out? What can you infer about Anna Rall's position in Philadelphia society? I want you to underline the text details that help you make an inference. And I also want you to quote these details in your response. All right, take some time to do this. Pause the video here and then come on back to me. Welcome back. All right, so mob surrounded our house, broke the shutters. We ran into the yard. 2 men climbing the fence. I can infer that Rawl was somewhat wealthy because it sounds like she had a nice house with a fenced-in yard. And then I also have, Philadelphia will no longer be that happy place for us that it once was. Those joyful days when all prosperity and peace are gone. When all was prosperity and peace are gone, never to return. So these details here also show that Rawl had a privileged life in Philadelphia. How did you do? Are you a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1? Can you draw inferences to deepen your understanding of the text? Can you identify text evidence that supports your inferences? And can you accurately quote text evidence in a response? Write down your number, and I will see you again tomorrow.